Hello, this is Joy Morin from colorinmypiano.com. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can create your own opening and ending screens that you can use for your student videos. So what you're looking at here now is the recent virtual recital that I organized for my students. And just as an example, I'm going to show you my first student here, Sonia's video, so you can see the opening and the ending screens that I'm talking about. So that's the opening screen, then it goes into her playing, and then I'm going to skip to the ending to show you the end. And that's the ending screen. Let me pause this. There we go. Okay, so this opening screen, I'll show you how I went about this process. Actually, I think I'll show you the ending first of all, just so you get the idea of how I created this animated ending screen here. Okay, so what you need to do first of all is go to a website called Canva. If you go to canva.com, you can create a free account. This website is an online-based graphic design program. And with a free account, you can do a lot of designing. And if you find that you use it a ton, then there are some benefits for if you choose to subscribe to their paid monthly subscription. So everything I'm going to show you, you should be able to do with the free plan. So I'll go ahead and kind of show you. But this program, Canva, has tons of different templates for creating whatever it is that you might want to create. It could be printed resources, or it could be digital files that you want to be able to share on social media. So there is tons to explore on this website, and there are just all these different templates to look through. What I'm going to do right now is just type in Christmas and Christmas card or Christmas video. I'll do Christmas video for now. And we'll start browsing. You can see some of the different designs. So here's the one I chose for Sonia for the opening screen. So the first thing I did was just start browsing these templates, and I especially liked the ones that were animated like this. I thought those were sort of fun. And then I just started clicking this heart button here to sort of like that template, and then that will then save them to my liked folder. So if I go back over here to all my folders, likes, so you can see here a selection of some of those different templates that I came across, and it just put them all into my likes folder. So this is actually the template that I ended up choosing as a starting point to create my ending screen that you saw. So you can see it's definitely different, but maybe you can kind of tell how I ended up starting with this template. So if I go ahead and click on this template, I can open it up, and it will show the different design elements. So these leaf images are around on the outside, and then there's these cute little twinkle designs here, and then there's a couple of text boxes here for the text. So I definitely liked the look of this cursive looking font, and so I made use of that. I didn't really need this text box, so I ended up taking that away. These two text boxes appear to be grouped together, so I had to ungroup them first of all, like that. So you can see, if I click away and come back, now you can see how they're two separate text boxes, and you can just delete, anything that you don't need, and you can start editing the text just like you would in any word processing program. Canva works pretty similarly. So before I go any further, though, with kind of altering this template, the next thing that's important to do is to make sure that you have the right dimensions for your project. So this canvas size that you see here might not be what I need for the video projects that I'm going for, but that doesn't mean I can't use this template as a starting point. So if I go back, I'll show you. So most videos that you will get from your students, if they've been taken using a smartphone, then you will notice that the dimensions are more like this rather than the shape of this one. So this is a 9 a ratio of 9:16. That's what this ratio is called for the dimensions of a smartphone video. And the same is true for if your students send you videos in the vertical format as opposed to the horizontal. This is also a ratio of 9:16. So you can see this isn't going to quite fit that. That said, I also, with my student videos that I did receive that were the vertical, I find that there's often some kind of unused space at the top and the bottom of the frame, so I tended to want to crop it to not such an extreme long narrow shape. So I'm going to jump over now to my video editing software to show you what I'm talking about. So the program that I like to use is called Adobe Premiere Rush. This is a pared down version of Adobe Premiere, which is a full-blown video editing software. So Premiere Rush is really great. It's a little more streamlined and easy to use, and I absolutely love it. So I think there's a free month trial that you can do, and then it requires a monthly subscription. So this could be a program that you could choose to use just for the trial, or maybe just for a few months, and just be careful that you read the fine print to make sure you can get out of your subscription if that's what you want to do. So anyway, if you go in this program, if you go over here, you can see there's the 16:9 ratio I was talking about and the 9:16 for the vertical. So for some of those that I got from my students, I ended up choosing to do this ratio instead, the 4:5, just to take off some of the extra space on the top and the bottom. Now you don't have to do that, but it's just kind of an option to you if you'd like. Okay, so if I know that this is what I'm shooting for the dimensions of my video, then we can take this information and use it over back in Canva. Okay, so going back now to Canva, we have our template here ready to go. Now what I'm going to do is in a separate tab, go over to create a design. We're going to start a blank design from scratch, and Canva allows you to use a custom size. Okay, so if we're doing Sonia's video, which is in the vertical format, if I didn't want to change the aspect ratio and I just wanted to leave it at the 9:16 ratio, I could go ahead, and what I would put in here is 1080 pixels. See how the measurement is in pixels for this, and 1920. So you can look this up online. You can check what the pixel dimensions are, but that's the dimensions that I could use. Now, because I want to do something slightly different for Sonia's video and go with a 4:5 ratio, I just took out my calculator and did a little bit of math, and the tweak to make to this is to leave the 1080 but change the 1920 to 1350. Now I can hit create new design, and here I have a blank canvas, and you can kind of see how those dimensions are going to fit. Okay, so now I'm going to go over to the template, and I'm going to take these elements. I'm just going to click and drag and select everything that is involved with this template, and then I'm going to copy and paste it over into my blank project. So to copy and paste, you can right click and go to copy here. I also like to use the shortcuts on my keyboard on my computer. So I'm going to, on my Mac, press down this command button and then a C. If you're on a PC, then instead of the command key, you would use control. So control C. So I'm going to copy, go over here to this other project, and now I'm going to paste. So the shortcut for paste is the command V. So you can do it that way. Just gonna, oops, try that again here. There we go. So those elements have all pasted over into here, and I'm just gonna resize, make everything a little bit bigger here. Now you'll notice that the blue background did not copy and paste over. So that's something that I have to set separately. So you can see from the blue lines that my canvas is selected right now. And this is the place where you can select the color. Now, if I want to make sure that I get the exact same blue that the template had, I'll show you how you can do that. So I'm going to click on the blue canvas here. I have to be careful not to select one of the text boxes. So I got to find an area where there's nothing in the way. And again, you can see the blue line showing that I have the canvas selected. I'm going to go over here to the color box here, and here it shows me, I love this, it shows you whatever colors are currently being used by your template. So this turquoisey color here, now if I hover my cursor over that box, it'll show me the hex number for that color, which is a 6-digit code representing that color. So I can jot down this number or just kind of memorize it and go over into the other project and get the color that way. All right, so it's 006 A82. So 006 A82. And then there it is from my search. So I can click on that, and now I have that turquoise color as my background. Okay, so now as you can see, I need to make some adjustments so that this kind of fills out my screen. And looking back at what I did for Sonia's video here, you can kind of see how I changed out the designs for the music notes and changed the wording so that it fit my project for my studio, and I added my studio logo as well. So now you can start editing away to your heart's content. So I would start deleting these out and bringing in the music note symbols. So now for the music note symbols, I'm using a set of images, music symbol images that I created myself. They are hand-drawn designs that are available on my website. So if you want to check it out, you can go to colorinmypiano.com, go to the shop area, and then you will see this set here. So let me go to the first one. So what you're going to see me use is this first one here. This is just kind of the basic set of music symbols, but I also have a few other sets available. There's a curly set, these heart notes, and then the smileys. So on this page, there are instructions for how you would go about using these images for your projects. And there's also a tutorial video that you can watch. This tutorial video here will show you exactly how to bring those image files into Canva. And the nice thing about Canva is that once you've brought those images into Canva, they will stay there and you can use them for any projects going forward. So check out that tutorial if you want to know more about those steps. But we're going to keep going with where we are here. So I'm back over in Canva. I'm going to click on the uploads area. And here's where you can see some of the different images that I've already uploaded into Canva before. So from this point on, I can start making my selections, and I'm going to just start popping in a few different music symbols and notes and just kind of making some choices. Maybe a treble clef here. Okay, so now each of these, I'm going to size these down. I don't need them quite so big, and just kind of bring the whole pile out here, and then I can just start moving them around. Now I can change the color by going again to this box in the corner, and I'm going to choose that same creamy color that's being used for the text right now. So I can just select each one, change the color, and then find a placement for it, resize it. For some of these, I like to rotate them just a little bit, just to kind of give them a playful look. So resize, change the color. Okay, so you kind of see how I went about doing this. Now, all these little twinkles, I can just move these. So I'll put these maybe around here, and these need to be kind of spread out more. Oops, I didn't mean to select the text. So I want just those twinkles there. Now, here's a little trick in case you do accidentally select something you don't want. If you press down the Shift key, you can add or take things out of your selection. So I was holding down Shift and I clicked on the text box and it took it out of the current selection. So there's a good little shortcut. All right, so I just kind of kept moving things around until I was happy with the look. And this takes a little bit of time, but then once you have it done, you can use it at the end of all of your videos. All right, with the text, so you might have seen in the other screen, so I put in here countdown. You can move this down. Another handy trick, if you go over here to position, you can make sure that it's perfectly in the center by clicking on that. And maybe I want it also in the middle this direction too, so you can do that as well. So I think you get the idea. I also added additional text boxes here for these two parts. So you can do that by going to text over here, and then any of these will work. You can just click on one to add a text, and then type in, move it. So if you need to zoom in, you can do that here. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit closer so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to try to move this out of the way. There we go. And I just changed the font to something interesting. So you can try out a bunch of different fonts. I think the one that I chose is called Check. There we go. So again, you can resize it like this. You can also adjust the size here. You can change the color of the text. So I don't want it just white. I want it to match that creamy color. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back out, fit, and just kind of trust that you get the idea. So I would spend some more time getting this all laid out exactly the way I want it to look. And then hopefully I would end up with this. Okay, so the next thing is the animation. So you might have noticed how in the video, the notes kind of swirled around a little bit before coming into place. So I'll show you how to do that. Let me go back here. Here we are. Okay, so in the corner here, there's already currently an animation applied, but if you're looking at, let me see, here we go. So normally if you haven't applied an animation yet, you'll see a button that says animate in the corner. So what you can do is click on that, and Canva will show you a selection of different animations to choose from. Currently there is no animation applied, but you can just click on any of these and just see what they look like. So that one's called block. That's kind of fun. Breathe is quite nice. Fade, pan. So, and you get the idea. Now, if you see this little icon here with the crown, this indicates that these items in Canva require a payment. So there's a lot of photo elements and shape elements that you can use for your projects in Canva, and many of them are free and many of them cost like $1 or so. So if you do find that you really want to use one of those, then you only have to pay like $1 to be able to use those. And like I mentioned earlier, you can also do the monthly subscription if you find yourself using this a lot. And so maybe you would come out ahead if you did that. So those are your options. I think for this project, I ended up just kind of sticking with the free options here. So in the end, now I'll go back over to this one here. This shows my final product, and I ended up choosing the breathe template there, and you can also adjust how many seconds you want that to last. The default is 5 seconds, and I found that 5 seconds felt too long, I think, for the opening screen. So I think I tended to choose like 3 seconds, 3.5 or 4 seconds. That's what I would recommend. So once you have something that you're happy with, you can download. So you can see here I've got other screens in this same document, which I'll get to in a moment. But when you go to download, you can choose the file type, and Canva is already realizing that because I have the animation, it's suggesting that maybe I want to download an MP3 file, which is a video file format, which is exactly what I want to download. If you use Canva for other projects, just know that you can choose from other file types. So if you need an image, there's a couple of image options, or you can download a PDF. You get the idea. So we're going to stick with MP4. And then you can select which page it is that you're trying to download. So this is important because I don't want to download a video that just goes through all of them, but I just want to download this first one. So I'm going to put a check mark there. Done. And now we can hit download. Now video files tend to be a larger file format, so they do take a while to download from Canva. So it'll just take a few minutes. Just be patient and the video file will download. Okay, so once your video file has downloaded, you might see something like this on my Mac. This is how it shows that something's been downloaded. Now I'm going to go over to the Finder area on my computer, and I'm currently looking at my Downloads folder. If you're on a PC, I think that you would go to File Manager, and you could do kind of the same thing. You need to be able to navigate to your Downloads folder to find where your computer put that video project. So here it is. My video project is here. It's the most recently downloaded thing in this folder, so it's showing at the top here. Now it's automatically named whatever it is. I'm going to go back to the project for a second. Whatever it is that you type in here, this is the name of your project. So you can go ahead and change that to anything you like. And then, or if it's, not named something handy right now, you can right click this and go to rename, and then you can type in and call this file whatever you like. But it's good to rename things something descriptive, something that makes it easier for you to find it again. Now I have a folder already going on my computer where I organized everything related to this project. So as students started sending me videos of their performances, I just threw everything into this folder for my Christmas virtual recital project. So I could go ahead and, drag this into that folder to keep myself organized. Now I already have it here, so I'm all set, but you can kind of see here how I've organized things. I have the original video files that my students sent me are in this subfolder, and then as I finished my editing, then they all went into the folder for the final versions. So in any case, I recommend doing something like that to keep yourself organized while you do something like this. So now that I have that ending screen all done, and let's just pretend for a moment that I have the opening screen all done as well. And that's what these are here. When I downloaded those, I named those files, from Sonia or whatever the student's name is. And I also have here an applause track. So this was just a free applause audio track that I found online that was free to use. So I have everything that I need is ready to go in this folder. So now I'm ready to go into my video editing software again. Adobe Premiere Rush is the one I like to use. Now I'll close out of this other project here and I'll just start a new project so you can see how it's done. So I'm going to go to Create New Project, and here is the area that would allow me to navigate to my folders. I have already kind of starred the folder for my virtual Christmas recital, so I can use that to get to the same area that I was showing you on my computer. This is the same folder. So I can see here's my applause track that I want to use. I can click on that, and my ending screen, I need the vertical one. It looks like there it is. So I recognize it from the file name here. And I need to go into my subfolder in order to get Sonia's video that she sent me. Let's see if I can find her video. There it is. And then I'm going to go back out to the main folder, and then I can also, so again, just pretend that I already created Sonia's opening screen. So I'm just going to go ahead and select it. So I have those 4 items selected. I can name my project right here, so I can call this, Sonia plays whatever piece, and then I can hit create. So Premiere Rush is bringing everything into the timeline area like you can see here. So it just plops everything in, and things are not in the right order. I probably could have selected them into the right order, but so we can just start clicking and dragging to move things around. So I'm going to move, I recognize this is my ender, so I'm going to slide it to the end of the timeline. This is my beginning screen. I'll bring this to the very beginning. Okay. So I can see here that my beginning screen is not quite the right size. So I can, click on that and drag on the corner and resize that to bring it out to the edges, because I don't want to have any black showing around the edges. And then, like I was talking about earlier, rather than having this long narrow shape, I prefer to switch to the 4/5 so that you can see things fit nicely there. Now, I just kind of as a creative choice, I wanted the sound of the music to start during the animation of the opening screen. So here's what you do for that. I'm going to select this and just kind of drag up, and you'll see that now kind of a second layer has been added to the project. So I can have that screen going on during Sonia's playing. So just to show you, I'm going to bring my playhead here to the very beginning, and then you can hit play here, or you can always just hit the space bar as a shortcut to make it play. So this, sometimes in the editing process like this, you might see that this doesn't play very smoothly, but it gives you at least the idea of what you're doing. When you actually go to download the entire project, when you're done, everything will show nice and smooth. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so I noticed that the audio started kind of right around here or so, and you can kind of see it here as well. You can see the audio underneath there, which you can actually expand, by the way. So I can hit expand just so I can see that better. So there's kind of an unused area here. So we can trim that right off though, that's no problem. Now, just a quick tip, if I go ahead and trim right now, it's gonna also trim my top part here. So I don't want that. I'm just gonna move this out of the way for a second. And I probably should have trimmed this first. So I'm just gonna move it a little bit closer like that. And now I can go ahead and put this back at the beginning. Okay, so let's see what we've got. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So currently, you might have noticed that it's a kind of abrupt going from the opening screen here and then to where you see Sonia. So we can add a transition to smooth that out. If we go over here on the right-hand side, you'll see transitions, and then this right here, dissolve, is the one that I tend to choose, but you can try out any of these other transitions. When I clicked on dissolve, you may have noticed that these triangles appeared, or rectangles appeared on either side. Now, I don't want the transition to apply at the beginning, so I'm actually going to click on that one and delete it, because I'd rather have the video just kind of start with that turquoise color nice and solid rather than try to fade in, and I don't want Sonia showing underneath it. So we can delete that one, but this one is going to look nice. It'll be nice to have a smooth transition going from the opening screen and then to Sonia performing. So I mentioned earlier that 3 to 4 seconds is a good amount of time, I think, for the opening screen to last. If you want to adjust it, if you find that it feels too long, especially I felt that if a student's piece has a fast tempo, it seemed like the opening should be done sooner. But if the piece is slower, it seems like it felt nice for the opening screen to last a little bit longer. So you might just kind of want to be aware of that. And if you want to tweak it, you can, so right now you can see it's 4 seconds. Maybe if I want Sonia's to just be a little shorter, then I can actually do that very easily by just kind of dragging this out. Now, that said, you want to make sure that whatever animation is going on here is, make sure that it's completely finished. So once you're happy with the animation and the transition here for the beginning, then you can go ahead and just take a look at the ending section. So like the beginning, we're going to bring this ending screen up to the, oops, it's not letting me drag up to the other line here, probably because this audio seems to be kind of attached to it. So let me move that out of the way first. Now it's going to let me move this freely here. Okay, so the way I figured out the ideal timing for the ending, so my applause track, I think it's 4 seconds long that I'm using. And first of all, what I did was figure out where is the right place for the applause to begin. Okay, so Sonia's playing along, and I want the applause to start at kind of a natural point at the end of the piece. So like definitely not that soon. But you can see here, this is where she plays her last chord. So maybe like, a little bit of time happens after we hear the last chord, and then maybe the applause would start right about there. So again, let me move this out of the way so it's not distracting us. Yeah, that feels about right. Maybe just a little more time would make it feel more natural. So you can, tweak it and figure out where the right point is. Then once I had that in place, then I was able to really easily just drop my ending screen in. So my ending screen is just slightly shorter than my applause track, which I thought was nice because then, you're watching, you're listening, you hear the last chord, you hear some applause begin, and that almost kind of triggers that the next natural thing would be for the ending screen to start. Okay, so now my ending screen does need some adjustment. So I need to click on this. I need to resize this so that it fits the whole screen here. There we go. And then I want to apply a transition to this as well, because I don't want it to just be really sudden that suddenly there's a blue background and animation. So again, while you have this piece selected, you can go over to your transitions area and choose whatever transition you'd like. So I just went with dissolve. It seems like the most basic one. And then again, I didn't want to use the dissolve to finish out my entire video, so I clicked on this and deleted that one. So now you'll hear, what's going to happen is we're going to hear Sonia play her last chord, we're going to hear some applause start, and then we're going to start seeing this dissolve that takes you into this ending screen. So that's basically it. You can, watch through your video just to make sure that everything looks okay. And then you can go ahead and go to this share area here to download your project. So here's where you can choose the file name. What do you want it to be called once it's downloaded? And then what's your destination? So automatically it wants to save to my documents folder. So maybe I want to click on that and, have it saved to someplace else on my computer, probably to that folder that I was talking about earlier, where you want to save all the final projects, just to keep yourself organized. And then you can click on export and it'll start exporting the video file for you. And that, again, you'll have to be patient. It takes a few minutes for that to complete. I just want to mention, though, there are some options to automatically save your video project to these other places like YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. I don't recommend doing that at this point. I think it's good to first export the video and then you can watch it completed and make sure that it's okay. Sometimes I find that I've forgotten something or there's an additional tweak that I want to make. So then I end up going back to editing all over again and exporting again. So I just prefer to just make sure I'm happy with the video first, and then I just manually upload to YouTube rather than take advantage of this shortcut. So that's my little tip for my way to go about that. Okay, so wrapping up here. So these animated screens in Canva. Let me just go back to Canva one more time just to show you how I went about creating those custom screens. Now, so again, you can, look at your different template options, click on one to open it. And then I did the same process like I showed you with this one here, where I just selected everything from the template, copied it, and then brought it into my other project where I had my sizing worked out properly. So that's really the key. You need to make sure that you have the dimensions set up the way that you want and the way that you need for your project. Then from there, you can start adding on additional pages into the exact same project that you have set up. So you can do that by, let's see, that's the duplicate page. Where's the one for a new page? Right here. So this is how you can add another page into your project. Then I could go to one of those other templates that I found and then copy, paste it in, and then start making your tweaks. So every single one of these, I had to make at least some tweaks to move the elements around so that it fit the shape that I had going. And I changed the text to say some sort of greeting and then the student's name. So I was able to create a set of different ones. So I was having so much fun with this that I made a different one for every student, but you certainly don't have to do that. You can just create one design for the opening screen and then, just make it kind of generic and use it for your whole studio. It's up to you how far you want to go with some of that. But yeah, that just kind of shows you the overview. So this, like I mentioned, is the 4/5 vertical one that I set up. And then the second one that I have here is the one that I used for my 9/16 horizontal format videos. So those were the two projects that I kept working out of as I created these for my student videos. All right, so I think that is it. If you have any questions about this process, you can feel free to let me know in the comments and I'll try to answer. But I hope this gets you inspired and feeling enabled to be able to create your own opening and ending screens for your student videos. Thanks for watching.